Hey, my beautiful queens. So I wanted to pop on here and do a little energy check-in because this energy came in very specific, okay? Like, very specific. And before I even touched the cards, before I even really knew where this reading was going, I kept hearing one phrase over and over again. Is now a convenient time? And I was like, convenient for what? Convenient for who? Convenient for this masculine to finally say the thing that has been sitting in their chest, weighing on their heart, keeping them emotionally quiet, but energetically very, very loud. Because that's what I'm getting here. Somebody wants to speak. Somebody wants to come forward. Somebody has something they absolutely must tell you, but they're nervous about the timing. They're wondering, is she open? Is she still mad? Is she at peace now? Am I about to interrupt her healing? Is now a convenient time? And then the first card we have here is the King of Cups. Okay, wow. So symbolically, this is not someone who doesn't feel. This is someone who feels deeply, but has learned to sit on top of those emotions like a king sitting on a throne in the middle of the ocean. Calm face, steady posture, but underneath, waves. A whole emotional world they have not let you fully see. For some of you, this masculine acted controlled, maybe too controlled. Maybe they made you feel like you were the emotional one, like you were the only one who cared, like you imagined the depth of this connection. But the King of Cups says, no, honey, there was depth here. There was feeling here. There was love here. Or at least something emotionally serious enough that this person couldn't just brush it off. And I feel like I'm picking up on two groups of divine feminines. Group 1, you may be in separation or no contact. This person went quiet, but their silence was not empty. It was full of things they didn't know how to say. Group 2, you already feel them coming in. You may be checking your phone, seeing 1111, roses, hearts, or hearing songs that sound like messages. And I'm hearing, I need to ask her before I come in. So this masculine may be energetically standing at the doorway asking, is now a convenient time? Only take what resonates, but this feels emotional already. And now we have the Hermit. Okay, and I need you to really look at this, because the Hermit coming out after the King of Cups tells me this person has not just been quiet for the sake of being quiet. This is not just someone ignoring their feelings, scrolling past your name, pretending nothing is happening. No, honey, this is someone who has been sitting with themselves, and maybe not comfortably. Because the Hermit is that energy of going inward, pulling back, stepping away from the noise, stepping away from people's opinions, stepping away from distractions, and finally having to face what's been glowing in the dark. And I'm drawn to the lantern here, like this little light being held up in the middle of the cold, in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of all this space. So symbolically, this masculine may have been in a season where they had no choice but to look at the truth. Not the version they told their friends. Not the version they told themselves at first. Not the, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm focused on me version. The real truth. And I feel like that truth has been following them around like a light they cannot turn off. That's why I'm getting that doorway energy so strongly. It's like this person is standing there with their hand raised, but they haven't knocked yet. They're close enough to reach out, close enough to say something, close enough to open that conversation, but there's this pause, and that pause feels like fear. Not because they don't know what they feel, because they do. The King of Cups already told us that. But the Hermit says they've had time to think about what their silence caused. They've had time to replay things. They've had time to sit in the quiet and realize, okay, maybe I really did leave her alone with too much. Maybe I really did make her question herself. Maybe I really did act like I didn't care, when I cared more than I was willing to admit. And my beautiful queens, that is not a light realization. That is heavy. That is the kind of realization that makes somebody pick up the phone, type something out, delete it, put the phone down, walk away, come back, and stare at your name again. because now the message is not casual. Now it's not just, hey, how are you? It's, can I come out of this silence? It's, can I tell you what I saw when I finally had to sit with myself? It's, is now a convenient time for me to be honest? And the next energy feels like it's going to show us exactly why they've been holding back this long. And look at this, 6 of Cups, but it's reversed. Okay, yeah. So now we're getting into why this person has been holding back, because 6 of Cups upright can be nostalgia, memories, sweetness, the past, that familiar soul feeling, right? But reversed? This is somebody who has not known how to return to the past without feeling exposed by it. Because coming back toward you means they have to come back toward the version of themselves that didn't handle you correctly. And that's the part. It's not that they don't remember. They remember too much. They remember your softness. They remember the way you loved them. They remember the way you were patient, maybe even too patient, honey. They remember the little things they acted like they didn't notice at the time. The check-ins, the emotional effort. The way you tried to understand them even when they were giving you almost nothing to work with. And with this card reversed, I feel like those memories have become uncomfortable. Not because the memories are bad, because the memories are honest. And the Hermit already showed us this person has been sitting in that honesty. So now it's like, how do I come back to someone who saw me in such an unhealed version of myself? How do I reach for her after I made her feel like she was reaching alone? How do I ask for a conversation when I know I was the one who avoided the last real conversation? That's why they're asking, is now a convenient time? Because what they're really asking is, do I still have access? Do I still have access to your warmth? Do I still have access to your softness? Do I still have access to that part of you that used to light up when their name came through? Because I'm telling you, my beautiful queens, this person may be sensing that you are not in the same emotional place anymore. You're calmer. You're not chasing the explanation like you used to. You're not energetically standing at their door anymore, waiting for them to figure out their feelings. And that shift, it has them nervous. Because when you were hurt, they could feel your attachment. But now that you're peaceful, they don't know what they're walking back into. So they're not just afraid of rejection. They're afraid of seeing that you healed around the space they left empty. And the message they want to bring in, it doesn't feel like small talk at all. It feels like a confession. And now we have the Four of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so there it is. Because Four of Pentacles upright is somebody holding on, holding back, gripping tightly, protecting their heart, protecting their pride, protecting their image, acting like, no, I'm good. I don't need to say anything. I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to open up. But reversed, this is the grip loosening. This is somebody who cannot keep holding everything in the same way anymore. And I'm hearing it so clearly, like I have to tell her the truth. Not because it's easy, not because they suddenly became fearless overnight, but because holding it in has started to feel heavier than the fear of saying it. And that is a big shift. Because this masculine, for a while, may have been trying to keep control over the narrative. They may have wanted you to think they were fine. They may have wanted you to think they moved on, or they were unbothered, or they didn't sit there thinking about you at the most random times. But Four of Pentacles reverse says that mask is slipping. The emotional control is slipping. The I'm not going to reach out first energy is slipping. And only take this if it resonates. But for some of you, this person may have compared other people to you and realized it wasn't the same. It didn't feel the same. The conversation wasn't the same. The comfort wasn't the same. The emotional pull wasn't the same. And I don't even feel like this is them trying to be dramatic. I feel like they tried to be practical. They tried to tell themselves, okay, life goes on. I'll focus on work. I'll focus on my routine. I'll distract myself. I'll keep my feelings contained. But honey, The heart does not always cooperate with the story the ego is trying to tell. And with this card reversed, it feels like the truth is leaking out. Through dreams, through songs, through them almost texting, through them checking your page, through them remembering something you said and suddenly feeling that little pull in their chest. And the confession here is not just, I miss you. It feels more like, I acted like I was unaffected, but I wasn't. I acted like this connection was smaller than it was, but it wasn't. I acted like I could just put you somewhere in the back of my mind, but you kept coming back. And now there's this urgency, because something is making them feel like they cannot wait too much longer. And the surprising part is, I don't think it's just their feelings rushing them. I think it's something they're sensing from you. And look at this, 6 of Wands. Okay, wow. So yes, exactly. They are sensing something from you. And with the 6 of Wands here, what they're sensing is that you are being seen. You are not in the same place energetically. You are not sitting in the corner wondering, why didn't they choose me? Why didn't they say something? Why didn't they come forward? No, honey, this is you starting to rise again. And I don't mean that in a loud way. I don't mean you're out here trying to prove a point, posting things just to get their attention, trying to make them jealous. That's not what this feels like. This feels like your energy became visible because you stopped hiding inside of the hurt. And that is what's rushing them. Because the 6 of Wands is attention. It's recognition. It's someone being noticed. Someone being admired. Someone stepping into a place where other people can see their value. And for some of you, this masculine may literally be seeing you look better, feel lighter, move differently, talk differently, post differently, carry yourself differently. But for others of you, this is energetic. They can feel that you're not waiting in the same way. They can feel that your heart is not leaning toward their doorway like it used to. They can feel that your peace has become louder than your pain. And that is interesting. Because I don't feel like your anger is what scares them the most. I feel like your peace does. Because anger still says, I'm affected. Anger still says, you can reach me. Anger still says, there's something here that has not settled. But peace says, I survived that. Peace says, I found myself again. Peace says, you may still matter, but you no longer get to control the room inside of me. And I'm telling you, that is the shift they're feeling. So when they ask, is now a convenient time? It's because they're realizing silence is no longer protecting them. It's costing them. Every day they don't speak, you become a little more grounded. Every day they don't explain, you need the explanation a little less. Every day they stay quiet. They risk becoming someone you used to wait for. And that is why this urgency is coming in right now. Because the next energy feels like it's going to show us what they think they might have lost. And we have the Sun. Okay, wow. So what they think they might have lost is not just access to you. It's access to the light you brought into their life. And I know that sounds simple, but the Sun is simple in the most powerful way. This is warmth. This is clarity. This is joy. This is that energy of, I didn't realize how bright it was until I stepped away from it. And that's the part, because see, when someone is used to your love, they can start treating it like it's just going to be there. They can start assuming your patience will always reset. Your understanding will always stretch. Your heart will always make room. Your softness will always be waiting somewhere in the background. Even after they go cold, even after they disappear, even after they act like they don't know how to communicate. But the Sun says this masculine is realizing your light was not ordinary. Your presence was not ordinary. The way you made them feel safe enough to be seen, even if they still hid from you, was not ordinary. And I'm hearing, she only wanted the truth. That's what this feels like. You weren't asking this person to be perfect. You weren't asking them to have every answer, every plan, every emotion neatly packaged and ready to present to you. You were asking for honesty. You were asking them not to leave you in the dark. And now look at this sun energy coming in after all this silence. After the Hermit, after the reversed Six of Cups, after the Four of Pentacles reversed. It's like the whole reading is saying, they went into the dark and realized who the light was. My beautiful queens. That is not bitter. That is not revenge. That is just what happens when somebody has to sit with the absence of someone who genuinely cared. Now they're looking back at the unanswered messages. The moments they acted too cool. The times they changed the subject when things got emotional. The way they let you carry the emotional weight and then wondered why you got tired. And I feel like this person is not proud of that. They may not have known how to repair it before. They may still not know how to say it perfectly. But there is this inner reckoning happening where they're realizing, I didn't just hurt her. I dimmed something between us by refusing to be honest. And what they want to say may include an apology. But honey, it feels bigger than, I'm sorry. And now we have the Seven of Swords reversed. Okay. So yes, this is bigger than I'm sorry. Because Seven of Swords upright can be avoidance. It can be sneaking away from the truth. It can be somebody trying to move around the hard conversation instead of walking directly into it. But reversed? This is the truth catching up. This is somebody who can't keep hiding behind silence, distance, pride, excuses, timing, busyness, whatever it was. And I'm hearing, I can't keep pretending she didn't matter. That's the bigger message. Not just, I'm sorry I hurt you. Not just, I'm sorry I disappeared. Not just, I'm sorry I didn't know what to say. It's more like, I knew this was different and I still ran from it. Okay? And only take that if it resonates. Because I know some of you are like, okay, but where was all this before? Where was this truth when I was crying? Where was this truth when I was asking for clarity? Where was this truth when I was sitting there feeling crazy for caring so much? And honey, that is a valid question. Because see, emotional truth that arrives as late still has to answer for the time it was absent. And I feel like this person knows that. That's part of why they're nervous. They don't just fear you saying no. They fear you saying, why now? Why now, after I had to heal myself? Why now, after I stopped begging for communication? Why now, after I finally started feeling like myself again? And with Seven of Swords reversed, I feel like this masculine is realizing that they cannot come in with half-truths. They cannot come in acting casual when the energy is not casual. They cannot come in pretending they just randomly thought of you. No. This feels like somebody needing to admit that they saw something with you. Maybe a future. Maybe a home feeling. Maybe a connection that made them feel exposed in a way they were not ready for. And instead of honoring it, they tried to outsmart it. They tried to run from the very thing their heart kept recognizing. But now the running feels pointless. Because the truth is still there. And the next energy feels like it's going to show us what actually happens when they finally stop hiding and reach out. And now we have the Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, so this is very interesting. Because when we're asking what happens when they finally stop hiding and reach out, this card is showing me the fear around the response. Because Queen of Swords upright is clear, direct, honest. She knows what she knows. She says what she says. She is not easily emotionally manipulated, okay? But reversed? This can be the fear that the conversation could come out wrong. The fear that the words could cut. The fear that too much time has passed, and now there's resentment sitting where softness used to be. And I feel like this masculine is worried that you may not receive them with the same open heart they remember. Not because you're cruel. No, honey. Because you're wiser now. You have learned what silence feels like. You have learned what emotional confusion feels like. You have learned what it feels like to sit with questions that somebody else had the power to answer, but chose not to. So when they come in, I do feel like the message may start small. It may be a simple, hey. It may be, I know this is random, but can we talk? It may be a late-night message where they're trying to sound casual, but the timing gives them away. It may be a voice note they record 3 times before sending. It may be them replying to a story, liking something, sending a song, asking how you've been. And you might be sitting there like, that's it, but I'm telling you, the emotion behind it feels bigger than the way it may first appear. Because energetically, underneath that little message is still the same question. Is now a convenient time? Not convenient like. Are you busy? Convenient like. Do I have permission to step back into your emotional space? Do I have permission to tell you something I should have said sooner? Do I have permission to be vulnerable, even though I know I may not deserve immediate access? And my beautiful queens, please hear me. Just because someone finally arrives with feelings does not mean you have to abandon your peace at the door. You do not have to become the old version of yourself just because they are finally becoming honest. Because the real turning point here is not whether they reach out. The real turning point is how you respond when they do. And now we have the 9 of Swords reversed. Okay. And this makes so much sense for your side of the energy, because 9 of Swords upright can be anxiety, overthinkings, sleepless nights, replaying conversations, asking yourself, did I do too much? Did I say too much? Did I care too much, but reversed? This is you coming out of that, slowly maybe. Not perfectly, but you're not in that same mental prison anymore. And that's why your response matters so much here, because for some of you, this person reaching out may touch a place in you that remembers the waiting. It may touch the part of you that used to want this so badly. It may touch the part of you that prayed for clarity, cried for clarity, asked for one honest sentence just to calm your heart down. So yes, you may feel something. You may feel curious. You may feel touched. You may feel guarded. You may feel tired. You may feel hopeful for 2 seconds, and then immediately be like, wait, let me not get ahead of myself. And honey, that is okay. Because 9 of Swords reversed says you have worked too hard to come out of emotional confusion just to run back into it, because somebody finally found the courage to speak. So the question is not only, is now a convenient time for them to confess? No. The question is now a convenient time for you, Queen? Is it convenient for your peace? Is it convenient for your nervous system? Is it convenient for the version of you that had to rebuild herself after not knowing where she stood? Because love without readiness can still create chaos. Feelings without accountability can still reopen wounds. A message can be sincere and still require discernment. And I feel like this is where the divine feminine is being asked to stay in her body, okay? Not just her heart, not just her memories, not just the fantasy of what it could be if they say everything right, but her body. How do you feel when the message comes in? Do you feel calm? Do you feel pressured? Do you feel open? Do you feel like you need time? Because you're allowed to take time. You're allowed to say, I hear you, but I need to process. You're allowed to not reply immediately. You're allowed to ask for clarity instead of filling in the blanks for them. And the final energy feels like it's going to show us what this connection is actually asking for now. And now we have the Hanged Man reversed. Okay, so this is the final energy, and it's very clear, because the Hanged Man upright can be pause, surrender, waiting, seeing something from a different angle. But reversed? This is somebody who has been stuck in the pause for too long. This is someone realizing, I can't just keep hanging here thinking about it, feeling it, seeing it differently, but doing nothing. And that ties everything together. The King of Cups showed us the emotion was there. The Hermit showed us the silence. The 6 of Cups reversed showed us the past they didn't know how to face. The 4 of Pentacles reversed showed us the grip loosening. The Sun showed us the light they think they lost. The 7 of Swords reversed showed us the truth catching up. The Queen of Swords reversed showed us their fear of your response. And the 9 of Swords reversed showed us you coming out of the anxiety. So now, With the Hanged Man reversed, the connection is asking for movement, but not movement at any cost. Not movement that drags you back into confusion. Not movement that asks you to forget what happened. Not movement that says, "I'm emotional now, so please make room for me immediately." No, honey. This is asking for honest movement, and that is the core of the whole reading. This masculine wants permission to be honest. But you get to decide whether honesty is enough, because sometimes honesty opens the door to reconciliation. Sometimes honesty brings closure. Sometimes honesty lets two people finally speak like adults, instead of two wounded hearts guessing through silence. And sometimes honesty simply confirms that you have grown too much to go back to the same place. And all of those are valid. So when that message comes in, or when you feel that energy pressing close, like somebody standing at the doorway with their hand raised, I want you to remember this. They may be asking, "Is now a convenient time?" But you are allowed to ask yourself the same thing. Is now a convenient time for my heart? Is now a convenient time for my peace? Is now a convenient time for my truth? Because your body will tell you, not the fantasy, not the fear, not the old attachment. Your body. So take what resonates, my beautiful queens. Breathe before you respond. Let the truth arrive, but don't abandon yourself to receive it. This may be a new chapter, a closing chapter, or simply the conversation that finally clears the air.